Hey everyone, I'm really excited today. I want to introduce you to my son, Austin. Uh,
Hello.
really excited to have him here. As a lot of you know, I've done this page and everything else, and it was more living the experience and bringing my son into this. Extremely important for me to have him here. So Austin, I'm so glad that you're a part of this.
Glad to be a part.
Oh, that's awesome. What is it for you when we started this? You heard that I was going to start this and start talking about mental health and what I've kind of been through and what I put you through. What was your feeling when you started this with me?
I was all for it because you've talked about it my whole childhood about wanting to get into mental health and be in this industry, and you've just never been able to do it because all you knew was carpentry, and that's what you were growing up on and fell into, and that's just what you knew, so you never went for it. And then when you split up with my mom and everything went south, you turned to what was best for you, and it's changed your life ever since, I think.
Do you think that me and you as father and son we're so much alike? But do you think that this really
You could
kind
say that.
of you think it's that ADHD thing? I'm telling you, son. But do you think this brought us closer now?
Oh yeah, totally.
And what was when growing up with me? I know that it was kind of hard, eh? It was pretty hard. What were some of the things that you witnessed that kind of stick with you in your head?
Your
With,
anger, your
yeah,
frustration. That was probably the hardest part, just because you'd flip on the littlest of things, which I mean they may have seemed little to me at the time, and I'm sure some of them were for a reason, but there was a lot of you'd get angry just because you were so stressed out and everything was going on, and you just didn't know what to do with it because you bottled it all up and didn't talk to anybody about it. And now that you're actually coming out and opening up, it's like I haven't seen you angry since basically you started this page and a little bit prior to when you started talking about doing all of this.
so
Like it's
did it embarrass you at all when I told you I wanted to do this?
no,
Because you know my biggest fear when I started this was to tell you, right? I didn't want to expose your life.
yeah, I'm no, gotta step out at some point.
Yeah,
Can't just hide behind walls forever and expect to get help without coming out and asking for it.
yeah.
The only way you're gonna get help is by talking to other people.
Well, me and you have been really close, especially in the last couple of years, and we're really excited to get started. I think for me, the biggest excitement about this group and this page was that you were behind me on this. You know, you kind of now is the first time we've talked about it in the last 8 months. It's the first time that you've actually gone on camera with me, and I know a lot of people were really excited about that.
First time I've really been a part of the page at all, or
Yeah.
any of it.
Well, what's really cool, son, is you're not doing this because you're getting any benefit from it, right? Like we're not getting a financial benefit from this, or
No,
notoriety or anything silly like that. You just decide to work along with your dad.
so I'll just help other people. Got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Change the world at some point.
When I have a few questions that have always been burning on me, and I've done a couple of videos now, and I've talked a lot about you and the effects. I know that after your mom and me split, I kind of turned to my medications and started getting doped up. And you mentioned to me a couple of weeks ago, and you said at that point you were just kind of getting ready. Dad was going to die, or can you kind of explain that a little bit? What you meant?
Well, you're just so stubborn, and there's nothing you can do to talk you into doing something you don't want to do. So it was like I was on you all the time, every day. You need to quit smoking. You need to quit doing or drinking energy drinks the amount you knew. You need to quit, but you wanted to. You couldn't because you were at such a point, and I couldn't do anything. So it was like I was honestly I didn't want you to die, but I was ready for the day that it happened because I knew that within a couple of years, probably wasn't gonna have a father anymore.
Right.
And then this all happened. You moved to Kelowna and went to school for mental health and got into this, and you're like you've gone from 0 to 100 in just over a year with your whole attitude and your mental stage and everything.
Right.
Like there was a point where it was just waiting on the clock
Yeah.
because you even admitted it yourself. If you kept going at that pace, you wouldn't be alive today.
Yeah.
Like it was pretty bad.
Did you find, I know, son, we've talked, and I never was a physical disciplinarian,
God no, never hit me in my life.
but I know that I would use my body language with you. I'd be big,
Mm-hmm.
raise my voice. Do you find now as an adult, and you see your dad now, and clearly bigger than your dad, but do you not do you feel comfortable with it? You're not so much intimidated by it? Did it cause you any long-term effects? Like you think about a lot, you know, my dad.
Good long-term effects.
Yeah.
Because now I'm not intimidated really by anybody very easily. Because I hate you intimidating me my whole life. So
I was curious. I know we were talking about too, and the last little bit after my dad, your mom and me split, and you had no idea that I had gotten into the drugs the way I had.
not until recently.
No? Was it a shocker to you when I mentioned it to you?
It was at first, and then it wasn't, because a lot of people self-medicate, and that's pretty normal. And it's something that you did like when you were, before you even had me, like drugs were part of your teen years. So it's not a surprise that you went back to that, but it was a surprise that just because how I had no idea about it. Because normally I can kind of tell when things aren't off, and I knew something wasn't right, but you had really good lies.
So
you had good excuses as to why you were sick, and not that it was just withdrawals.
Yeah, and I, you know, as you know, I did a video and I was kind of heartbroken because a lot of my worries was I lost a lot of time with you, and I've lived a lot of guilt. But in the last 2 years, me and you've been really tight, and I see that, and I see for me as a parent is that you're proud of me, right? That's been my biggest joy and what keeps me so excited about this.
Yeah.
What is some of the things for you? I know you were growing up and we did the best we could for you, and I had an alcohol problem and I quit shortly after you were born. So you don't remember my alcoholism.
No.
But what was in your life some of the hardest things growing up with a parent who is medicated through other drugs and so, you know, in bed, unactive?
Like you just said, missing out on the family time. Like when we lived in Squamish before we moved up here to the interior of BC, it was pretty good. We went camping, we did, you know, the family things. We're always at the lake on the weekends fishing. And then you had a mental breakdown down there. We had to move up here, get away from situations down there. And you kind of just really honestly never came out of that funk. And then you'd be in the bed, and me and mom kind of tried to go out still and, you know, go hiking and boating with grandpa and do that kind of stuff. But you were just never feeling good, and you always stayed home in bed. You'd come out the odd time, but you were never excited to be there. You're kind of there more trying to just be there for me, but you were,
I just wasn't present.
No, you were never mentally all there, and even physically.
So you've noticed that in the last couple of years I've gone off, you know, the opiate medication, decided to deal with my pain.
Well, that's even the huge part of it. Like your back, when we moved up here, that's when the back injury happened, was when we very first moved up here into the interior, and that was what crippled you a lot too. And I've noticed, even though since you've gotten your mental health back kind of in line, your physical health has followed along in suit, even though now you're off the pain medications and you don't do treatment or anything. And really there's no difference from your back from now as to 6 years ago when you were in bed every day. The only difference now is you're mentally happy and all there, and life is good that way. So it's like your back is kind of just, everything else is just, so you're on such a high of life that you don't even feel the back pain now.
Yeah.
Whereas before it was kind of like you let the back pain and the injury drag you down, and like that just became a part of your life. Whereas now it's not. You don't even think about that. Before there was an excuse why you couldn't do something. It was because, well, my back hurts. And now it's like, who cares about my back? It's the same back I'm going to have until I die, whatever.
And when I went off a lot of you remember I was on anti-anxiety medications and antipsychotic medications, and it just, I felt like for me, and I don't disagree with medications, some people need them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for me, it just kind of zombified me, made me numb to everything. Do you notice a difference off medication completely, even the mental ones?
I noticed within the first month.
Yeah.
You went from having no energy and just kind of, like you say, being a zombie, to actually wanting to go out and do things and spend time together and not just kind of laze around the house because you didn't know what to do. Now you, like before, you never had ideas because there was like things to do because there was no motivation to do anything. And now it's like, want to go for a walk, want to go up the mountain, want to, you actually come up with ideas because it's like, you're not just wanting to do something to keep me entertained, you're wanting to do something because you actually want to go out and be active. And
it's a much better high. Yeah, it's a totally. So son, it's really important for me. I know that I talked to a lot of parents and such like that, and it was really exciting for me to have you here because they're going to get firsthand knowledge of what our kids deal with and how this affects them. For me, and I know a lot of parents want to know, even though you say that you've had a good life and you didn't go through a lot of the abuse of what you've seen, that is still abuse, the mental part of it when your parents aren't actively there. But now when your dad's gotten his life together a little bit and he's feeling healthier, are you able to overcome whatever emotions you felt with your dad? You know what I mean?
You can't. The past is the past. You can't change that. You can change the future. You got to let the past go and move on with life. Like, you're better now and everything's good, and we can move on and catch up on the time we lost when you were not good, and that's all we can look forward to doing. If you dwell on the past, nothing's going to change because you're just going to be stuck in the past. You gotta think about the future and not what happened yesterday, because that's yesterday.
Yeah, and it gives hope for the parents, right?
Oh,
because a lot of parents now are thinking, oh, everything I did as my kid witness, they're never going to like me again, and they're going to resent me. But you've overcome that. Now I think we're really close. Like, I mean, we finish each other's conversations. Mm-hmm. We're two bloody children. I think I even get ID'd when I go out with you. You know, so it is possible for parents. They can let go of the fact that their kids will never forgive them.
Oh yeah.
And it doesn't affect you now as an adult.
No. So I don't even think about that stuff in the past. That's in the past.
So now, as you, I mean, you're 20, right? And I would like a grandchild, you know, but I understand you work hard. And so when you have a grandchild, what is your attitude going in? Or son, yeah. Sorry. When you become a parent yourself, what are you going to take from what you learned from me and instill into your kid as they grow up? Because a lot of parents are worried that they pass down bad genes or whatever to their kids, and they're going to treat their kids the same.
No, you take what you learn and you use the good and you get rid of the bad, and then you try and find your own ways. There's no book on parenting. Every parent has learned the way they're parenting is probably just the way their parents parented them. So you can't really hold grudge in that, because that's just how they were taught. There's no right or wrong way to parent. Well, there is to a point, but it's not all in the person. It's how they were raised, and that's sometimes not something they can. It's not easy to control that. So it's up to you to take the good and use that and filter out the bad and just forget about that and just accept that was probably something that their parents did to them, and that's just what they knew. Yeah. Like,
is there anything, Austin? Me and you are gonna be doing a lot of videos now. I want to let everybody know that my son is my partner with this. You know, he's part of our page now. He takes care of a lot of things. We're gonna start doing videos together. I think what he can bring to light for you as parents and me too is learning. Is hearing firsthand view, and this is unscripted. My son is just talking. I've asked him to talk from the heart, and one thing my son does is talk from the heart. So it's really good to have him here, and we're gonna get more into detail. But I didn't want to start getting too deep too quick.
It's an intro.
Yeah, an intro thing. But I think it's really important, and I know a lot of my viewers here, our viewers, are going to be really appreciative for you coming out, and we've been pumping this up, and a lot of people are excited to have you. Mm-hmm. And it means a lot to me. You know, I love you with all my heart.
Yeah, I love you too.
And
any questions you guys have that you want to hear, put them in the comments and we'll be glad to answer them.
That's awesome. See, you guys, my son is going to answer questions. And if it's about me, you know, what it was like, we encourage you to talk to him. My son is very open. As you can tell, he's very mature about what he says. And I think he's a great resource, and I'm really excited to bring him here because a lot of us parents are going through those struggles with our kids. So, son, I'm so glad for you being here. We're going to do some more videos coming up, and let's see where we go with this one.
Sounds good.
Thanks so much, son. I love you.
Love you too.
Okay, guys. Bye.